Well, you know, Piers, you're the first person to say how limited Prince Harry is, unfortunately, and how his wife trades off her husband's fame and fortune, or not so great fortune now. I mean, this is the problem, but we're still interested because, after all, he's a great character in our modern day.
And so he became hypersensitive and blamed the media for the crashes of his relationships, never thinking that they could have something to do with himself. So he's a very complicated, depressed, unintelligent man who is seeking a role and has got really nobody on whom he could rely, which is in the end where Meghan stepped in. I mean, a needy man met a woman who could help him with his needs.
A new report just leaked, painting a very different picture of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle than the fairy tale we usually see. Instead of a loving partnership, this insider claims the couple's marriage is actually quite hollow. Forget affection or shared dreams. What actually binds them together seems to be constant drama and endless criticism. It is almost as if the chaos is the only glue keeping them whole. Their volatile connection is no longer built on unity or real companionship, but on the relentless public controversies swirling around them, making their bond feel more like a shaky truce than a true marriage. Look closer, and the report highlights some seriously complex language in their business agreements. It points to ownership clauses over joint ventures, intellectual property, and future earnings that could become incredibly important if their financial ties ever start to unravel. Even though these claims remain unverified, they have already sparked intense speculation among devoted royal watchers and palace insiders. Ford bluntly claims that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle do not actually like anything about each other.
Personally, I think they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
The real reason Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage is an empty sham. Constant drama and criticism are the only things holding them together.
Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's going to have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
A man who she abandoned for months to the media, and now presents her mother, Doria, speaking for the first time, telling outright lies about her ex-husband. I mean, this was a calculated attempt against the family.
The Sussex's bond is now only sustained by the controversies that regularly engulf their public lives.
Some experts.
Royal experts suggest these financial complications might explain why Meghan reportedly reconnected with her old PR firm Sunshine Sachs in early 2026. That move definitely raised some eyebrows, but not everyone agrees with this theory. Several analysts argue there are plenty of completely normal, routine reasons why Meghan would hire a public relations agency, things that have absolutely nothing to do with marriage drama or money battles. While there is no hard proof linking Meghan's return to Sunshine Sachs with these marriage or money rumors, the timing has definitely fueled a massive wave of online debate and speculation. To really understand why this whole situation is getting so much attention, it helps to take a step back and look at how prenuptial agreements actually work.
Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge...
Typically, these contracts lay things out clearly. Before the wedding, a couple will specify exactly what assets each partner is bringing into the marriage. It is a vital step that draws a clear line around personal belongings and money made before the couple says their vows. But they also have to decide what happens to assets they buy together during the marriage. More importantly, how would all that shared property get split if they ever split up? Ultimately, these legal deals are designed to protect both people, keeping things fair and clear. Now, when you deal with incredibly wealthy, famous couples who have high-profile careers, these prenups become incredibly detailed. It is no longer just about a house and savings. We are talking business empires, trademarks, royalties, book deals, and massive production contracts. Toss in a royal marriage, and the situation gets even muddier.
with a blend of personal assets, inherited riches, noble titles, and official roles that carry institutional responsibilities.
Their latest potential PR stunt comes as rumours circulate of Meghan forcing a, quote, brand separation as she attempts to distance herself from her husband's victim narrative and forge a separate role.
Aggressive PR for the Sussexes got way beyond herself because she really doesn't understand the British royal family or Britain, but understands how to project her clients. And so I think she got it wrong by leaking it or even letting.
All these layers can mix with business deals, making the finances incredibly messy. Harry and Meghan's story took a massive turn when they walked away from royal life. Instead of just escaping the British spotlight, they set out to build a brand new professional empire in America, launching several high-profile business ventures. This meant massive streaming deals, major book releases, and carefully building their global brand as an independent power couple. Every new project added another layer to their wealth, making their financial setup far more complex than anything a normal couple would ever face. Sources close to the couple, as reported by Bauer, claim their agreement features a specific clause that goes beyond splitting cash. It determines who actually owns the intellectual property of their shared brand.
Publicly as they've been, their value begins to nosedive pretty quickly. And I don't think they're finding any more sources of income.
This is a massive detail because it covers profitable sponsorships, the Sussex title itself, book deals, and any creative project they launched during the marriage. Keeping that in mind, it makes sense why Meghan might want a partner with immense financial power. Because Harry, after all the chaos and major transitions he has been through, cannot always carry the financial load alone. He simply has no leverage left over her. He has played his part, and their lives have simply drifted in separate directions. For her, it is time to forge ahead on her own. It is actually quite easy to believe that he has quietly slipped away from her control. For years, their marriage has been defined by endless grievances and a shared sense of victimhood, acting as though they are always victims of circumstance. That kind of toxic environment rarely builds real love, joy, or a genuine bond. They might pull closer during a crisis, but that kind of connection is usually temporary and highly fragile. Naturally, this point of view is more of a personal theory than an absolute fact. Relationships are always incredibly complicated. Moving on, he has also raised major questions about how their Hollywood streaming deals were truly structured behind closed doors.
Radar reports that one longtime friend, which in the case of Meghan feels like an oxymoron, described their relationship as powered by the storms around them and not much else. They said, there have been periods when the turmoil never seemed to stop, and strangely, it kept them united.
While headlines throw around eye-popping figures like $100 million for their Netflix deal, major entertainment contracts rarely pay out a massive lump sum up front. Instead, most of these deals hinge on actual results. Money drops only when they finish a project, hit a milestone, sign a renewal, or grab a specific number of eyeballs. Insiders close to Tom Bauer, the source of this leak, insist this tiny detail changes everything. The true value of these massive deals isn't a guaranteed jackpot. It is about hypothetical millions spread over years, entirely dependent on how the couple performs and how the public reacts. While Harry and Meghan battle the turbulent waves of global fame, these money puzzles start to define their story. As they pushed ahead, they soon realized that things would not go nearly as smoothly as the initial hype suggested. Their documentary did finally drop, and Meghan launched her lifestyle project. Both grabbed headlines and got people talking. But behind that success, the fairy tale cracked.
The fairy tale Prince Harry and Meghan Markle embarked on in 2016 become an absolute nightmare for them. Despite marrying in St. George's Chapel in Windsor, it seems like life hasn't been so rosy for the couple. They have gone through endless challenges, the vast majority of which are all self-inflicted. And this weekend, we had some new news that seems to kind of reiterate the idea that Meghan Markle, she wants to go back to the past. She wants to relive her glory days because she has hired Sunshine Sachs as her new PR representatives, who were representing her back in 2016. And at the same time, Harry is in the UK fighting for a court case that really has no bearing on any.
Take her animated show Pearl. It was announced with massive fanfare, only to be quietly killed before drawing a single frame. This abrupt crash set off massive alarms. It left critics and fans wondering how much of the couple's grand Hollywood dream would ever actually see the light of day. To investigative writer Tom Bauer, this sudden roadblock was a major turning point. After talking to industry veterans, Bauer revealed that the massive paydays reported in the news were far from guaranteed cash. Instead, those staggering numbers were just the absolute ceiling, money they would only see if they checked every single box. Hollywood insiders agree. They explain that entertainment contracts are built on rigid milestones, finished episodes, and actual results. They do not just hand you a giant check up front. These deals pay for progress, which means the money follows the work.
This depressed ginger who has absolutely no family, no friends, and no money. This was not hashtag part of the plan. So what is she supposed to do now? Now, if she's smart, and she is that, she's very savvy, she will find a way to bounce past him to some other taker who might actually just love the guy. She will take her royal kids who can still go by prince and princess.
Instead of getting a lump sum on day one, Bauer's sources suggest their actual payout was almost certainly much smaller than the wild numbers splashed across the tabloids. Although their actual bank statements remain locked away and unverified, the massive gap between hype and reality sparked fierce arguments in Hollywood. This deep divide between expectation and harsh reality is key to understanding the sheer messy details of their journey and the unstable nature of the Hollywood business. The sharp contrast between public fantasy and cold corporate contracts remains right at the very center of how people judge their ongoing business moves. But what really caught Bauer's eye was when Meghan started launching her own solo business, around 2022, she began filing trademarks for American Riviera Orchard, a lifestyle brand that looked like her ticket to independence. At the same time, public records showed several new companies tied directly to her personal brand. Although this doesn't prove anything for certain, Bauer insists these moves demand attention because they point to a highly calculated strategy playing out behind closed doors.
It's all about the independence to do what she wants. And a billionaire husband will afford her things that she can't have with someone like Harry. So it just makes sense that she would want to be with a billionaire because Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So
He even goes on to challenge the mainstream rumors about their money troubles. Dozens of stories claim their shifting assets are signs of desperate financial panic. But wealth managers who handle ultra-rich clients told Bauer a completely different story. They explained that moving money around, setting up shell companies, and reshuffling real estate are not warning signs. Instead, it is just smart, standard asset protection. Bauer argues these complex maneuvers are legal chess moves designed to keep their money safe and highly flexible over time. To other onlookers, this is just basic business housekeeping for any famous couple balancing several different income streams. Still, Bauer emphasizes that Meghan's newest solo projects are built entirely around her own name and image. This shows a clear, deliberate push to build a career separate from her husband. It is a sharp pivot, showing exactly how she's adapting to the brutal realities of modern entertainment. Forget joint projects with Harry. The focus is now entirely on her own brand, distinct, sharp, and uniquely hers. Bauer points to the evidence, her new trademark filings, book deals, and massive solo media projects.
A source claimed these Netflix projects are really pulling Harry and Meghan onto separate paths. Meghan is throwing herself into Hollywood, while Harry's focus is drifting back towards the UK and the world he walked away from.
Her growing list of lifestyle ventures proves she is carefully crafting a brand to stand alone. Normally, keeping solo projects and family businesses separate is just standard practice for any smart entrepreneur. But Bauer tracks a much deeper, deliberate pattern. It leaves people wondering how much they are truly working together versus silently splitting up their empires. Remember, this is only Bauer's theory, not an established, undeniable truth. It is a picture he has painstakingly built by stitching together public filings and business moves. But his most explosive claim looks at the ultimate nightmare, what happens to the empire if Harry and Meghan ever split. He argues that if that happens, the legal rules protecting their shared and private businesses, especially intellectual property, commercial rights, and ownership, will instantly turn into massive battleground. All the drama plays out in the dark because no official agreements on this have ever been made public. Without seeing those actual papers, Bauer's theories, though fascinating, are still just guesswork. Nobody can verify it independently, so we have to be careful. Still, some royal experts go even further, whispering about what might happen to their massive property portfolio.
Apparently Prince Harry is already talking to divorce lawyers?
So this is kind of interesting. This is the woman that the papers are citing for this reporting is a longtime royal insider, a socialite. She's been right. I've been following her because she's great TV. She's been right about a lot. And she's claiming she's heard from several sources now that he's hired a lawyer, and it happens to be somebody who's a great divorce lawyer and specializes in divorce. And it dovetails on other reports that he is spending a lot of his time in 2 hotels, one of which is in Montecito, another of which is not too far away, as an escape from her. It's entirely plausible. All they've done for 5 years is complain and moan and see themselves as downtrodden victims. That doesn't tend to spur a lot of feelings of love and happiness and close bonding. I mean, I guess in the crisis mode, it might.
Last week, we brought to you fresh news that Harry had been staying at the San Vicente bungalows to take a break from his family, despite owning a sprawling Montecito property together with Guesthouse. And this week, those rumours are in.
They talk about control over companies and future cash flow, but honestly, most of this is just pure speculation. Other royal commentators urge caution. They remind us that predicting any court battle without real proof or context is just a shot in the dark. Divorce and family law are incredibly messy, especially for famous people. The final outcome depends on a private mix of facts, laws, and personal secrets that no outsider will ever fully understand. Bauer openly questions how much Harry actually knows or understands about these complicated money and legal setups. It is completely unclear if he is fully briefed or ready to handle these massive challenges, making an already messy situation even more complicated as the drama continues to play out day by day. The deep money web behind the couple's deals is highly complicated, and almost nobody outside their tiny circle gets it, not even Tom Bauer.
Unbelievable. But I mean, I don't think that he is going to get back in. I mean, I think that there are 2 reasons. One is I think that William wouldn't allow it. And secondly, the moment he got back to America, he immediately promoted Disney and his trip to Disney World, which showed that he is very commercially minded, which we'll get into later on, which makes it impossible for him. And of course, Meghan wouldn't come back to Britain.
The Express reported Harry is due back in California this week, and a debrief is expected following his travel, said a source. There's a lot to discuss, so the team has been summoned for a meeting towards the end of the week. The success of Harry's solo endeavors has shown that a new strategy might be needed. But Radar has warned for years now that it's deeper than the professional separation, that Meghan solidified throughout 2025 with the launches of With Love Meghan, As Ever, and Confessions of a Female Founder, to name a few. I mean, now she's also playing herself in movies. An insider told Radar they have been drifting apart for a while, with Harry's desire to return to the UK, where his old drinking buddies are, and with his hope to return to the very comfortable fold of the royal family, putting a real strain on their marriage. He's hated their bid for.
Looking closely at these messy deals suggests that Harry's emotional breakdowns and constant court cases might show how much pressure is building up behind closed doors. For people following this theory, his very public struggles are not just random one-off moments. They point to a much deeper, painful struggle boiling beneath their famous lives. Still, people are deeply split on this. Doubters warn us not to overanalyze public moments. A few tense seconds on camera do not tell you if a marriage is actually falling apart. Bauer's investigation uncovers quiet warnings from friends near the couple who fear the sheer cost of Harry's endless court battles could ruin them financially. But whether these money worries are tied to a bigger plan for their business empire is still highly unclear. No direct link has been proven yet. Right now, almost all the talk about their money and emotional stress is just rumors.
That moment last year, she was about to promote her Netflix series and didn't want to, firstly, be seen with Harry, and secondly, didn't want to go somewhere where she'd appear cheap and give it gratis. And this year, she is desperate to be seen.
Yeah.
And that's why she turned up. So I think she has a major problem, financially and professionally. And I think that Harry has a problem because he's lost his charity centre Bailey in Africa. He had better up, and all these commercial deals are declining. I think that his reputation is somewhat toxic, and I think Invictus is his only lifeline.
Wild theories and half-truths. This massive guessing game leaves royal experts and media insiders totally divided. Some view Bauer's claims as major red flags, while others dismiss them as just another dramatic theory meant to feed public obsession. At the end of his deep dive, Bauer's final conclusions are by far the most controversial part of the report. Relying on his key sources, he hints that the legal structures behind Harry and Meghan's deals could trigger massive problems down the road. Whether these threats will shatter their entire marriage or just show the hard reality of managing immense wealth and fame remains to be seen. The clash between hard facts and rumors makes this chapter of their lives incredibly tense and divisive. This drama goes way deeper than the public is allowed to see. And yet, despite all these massive claims, not a single one of these secret contracts has ever been shown to the public.
Hollywood misadventure has been more of a nightmare than anything else. And they've gone from poor decision to bad decision to worse decision every single time. And with the hiring of Sunshine Sachs, I couldn't help but think, and Harry going back to the UK more or wanting to, can't help but think. If the two of them had a time machine and knowing what they know now, could have gone back to 2016, would they have made some different decisions? I can't help but wonder if the answer there is yes. Now, of course, this is just speculative, and they love their children. I'm sure to a certain extent they love each other, but we have a couple who has had a really unnecessarily difficult existence. And that's not the fault of the media. That is not the fault of his family. That's been their fault. Everything that has happened to them has been broadly their fault. And they can't seem to help recognize that. And so what they're doing, though, as things go sort of off the rail, is that they're regressing to, let's say, an earlier stage in life.
This leaves most of these claims completely unproven and impossible to verify. That exact mystery is what keeps the world so obsessed with their lives. Bauer's supporters argue that his decades of tough investigative work give real weight to the alarming concerns he is raising. They point out that the timeline he traces, their strategic corporate moves, and the sudden legal changes all fit together like pieces of a massive puzzle, definitely demanding a closer look. On the flip side, critics are firing back. They insist this whole story is built on wild interpretations instead of hard, publicly available proof. To them, the couple's business moves are completely normal. They view these decisions as standard routine steps for anyone building a brand in a brand new industry. At the very heart of this entire debate lies a massive question of timing. Were those legal changes just standard steps to help Harry and Meghan secure their brand after quitting royal life? Or are we looking at the tip of the iceberg hinting at a much larger and highly secretive financial strategy? As of right now, the truth is completely hidden. Only the people directly involved actually know what is happening behind the scenes. This dark cloud of uncertainty hangs heavily over their latest career moves too.
As he gave some testimony today in his lawsuit against the Daily Mail, claiming that they've made his wife's life an absolute misery. Well, Harry, I'm sorry, why does that have any bearing on this case at all? You're talking about articles that were written between 2001 and 2013, 3 years before you allegedly met your wife. So what does Meghan have anything to do with this trial? Well, as the answer turns out, it has everything to do with Prince Harry's motivation and his miserable existence right now, because his wife is miserable, she's making his life miserable, and everybody's living in absolute misery. And Harry only has himself to blame, because no matter if he wins this trial or not, he's still going to be miserable. I am going to do a deep dive into Meghan Markle's abysmal performance on Netflix. It's really bad, guys. She lost 60+% of her audience between season 1 and 2 of With Love, Meghan. That's really, really bad. So definitely something to go over. But obviously, with everything going on with Harry today, I feel like it's a need to talk about his big boy man tears. He's so emotional, guys. His poor
Meghan especially has moved forward on her own. She keeps launching new projects under her own name, carving out a powerful personal brand, completely separate from Harry. Meanwhile, Prince Harry remains focused on his own projects, dividing his time between charity work and high-profile public appearances. These split paths filled with solo charity, endless lawsuits, and solo media gigs have triggered wildly different reactions. To some, it is just a natural step, two people pursuing their own individual goals and careers. Others suspect these moves are clues pointing to a much larger, darker story still brewing out of sight. In the end, only time will reveal which of these theories actually holds any truth. Let's face it, Harry and Meghan remain two of the most heavily watched people on Earth, which is exactly why the headlines never stop. Just about everything they do, starting a brand, filing trademarks, signing massive media deals, or just showing up somewhere, triggers a massive wave of online debate. All this constant noise completely blurs the line between fact and rumor, mostly because people look at the exact same details and see totally different things. As of right now, there is zero official proof that the legal setups in Bauer's report actually exist. And there is absolutely no hard evidence showing the couple is heading toward any of those wild situations people are predicting.
Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here. I think she has a major problem. And I think as of this week, the signal for her great problem is that she turned up at Kevin Costner's.
Still, Bauer's book has definitely reopened the conversation about the messy, hidden reality of celebrity finances, their business partnerships, and the unique strain of high-profile relationships operating far from the camera. It is a quiet reminder that behind every single headline, there is a messy web of choices we rarely get to see. As we wrap up this crazy chapter, one thing is clear: whether Bauer's theory actually holds water or eventually fades away, it has absolutely stirred the pot and added fresh fuel to the endless debates surrounding Harry and Meghan. Royal family drama is always wildly unpredictable. What looks like a clear, simple story today can completely change tomorrow, as new facts come out, totally shifting how we see everything. This constant spin of updates keeps both supporters and critics on edge, waiting to see what happens next. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Bauer actually uncovered a piece of the truth that we need to look into? Or did he just connect a few random dots to build a theory that stretches things a bit too far? People have some seriously strong opinions on this, which just goes to show how divided everyone is over the royals. So do not hold back. Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below, because we really want to hear your take on this whole situation. If you enjoyed this quick deep dive, hit that like button, share it around, and subscribe for more updates on celebrity lives, royal secrets, and the biggest entertainment stories out there. And make sure to turn on that notification bell so you can stay ahead of every single twist and turn. That way, you will never miss an upload. Thanks so much for staying with us until the very end. Before you take off, click on the video on your screen for more behind-the-scenes gossip and celebrity drama. See you in the next one.